Yeah, Brent and Sarah. Congresswoman Jahana Hayes says that the discussion that will happen with the Vice President of the United States here at Central Connecticut State University on Wednesday is not campaign business. As you mentioned, we're just a couple weeks away from the November election where she'll go against Republican challenger George Logan. And while Hayes says this is not campaign business, a political science professor here at the school says that this could help the incumbent Democrat race in her reelection.
Everything that a vice president does is a political move. That shouldn't necessarily lead us to think that there's something unsubstantive about it.
Vice President Kamala Harris will make a trip to Central Connecticut State University in New Britain Wednesday to discuss abortion rights. Among those joining her, the national president of Planned Parenthood and Connecticut Congresswoman Jahana Hayes. Hayes is up for re-election this November. CCSU political science associate professor Jerold Duquette says this visit will help Hayes' bid, even though her team says it's not official campaign business.
Representative Hayes is the most vulnerable member of the Democrats in the House in Connecticut.
Duquette says there's vulnerability in her race for the 5th Congressional District. She's going against Republican George Logan, who Duquette says Connecticut residents may find support for because he's not considered far right.
This is a person of color. This is a former state senator. This is not an unreasonable person.
Congresswoman Hayes says this discussion is about the elimination of women's rights after Roe v. Wade was overturned by the Supreme Court, allowing many states to enact their own laws regarding abortion services.
The evisceration of women's rights is not something that comes back quickly. Once those freedoms are gone, they're gone.
But why discuss reproductive rights in a state that already has state laws protecting it? Hayes says it's personal to both her and Vice President Harris.
She wants it to be about the national narrative because in Connecticut, the national narrative is very important to voters. They certainly don't want to contribute to further eroding women's right to choose.
Republican challenger Logan says he is pro-choice but does not agree with late-term abortions. He argues the timing of this visit is campaign-related and says there are other issues on top of mind for voters like the economy.
So I think it would be more important to have the opportunity of having the Vice President of the United States of America here in Connecticut, here in New Britain, to talk about those issues.
Professor Duquette says both campaigns are hoping voters walk away with their own message. Congresswoman Hayes saying a vote for her Republican challenger could lead to a nationwide abortion ban. George Logan on the other side saying that Congresswoman Hayes is no longer in contact and connected to her district and that she's just following the Biden's administration. Live in New Britain, Tony Black, Fox 61 News.